Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble news channel. There are investments worth trillions of dollars that want to get into crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana will be used. Matt Hogan, CIO of Bitwise, just told everyone what the next 6 months will bring in the crypto world. There are people who think this is the easiest trade they've seen in a long time. A lot of alpha is about to come out. That's why I think the flows might be even stronger in H2 than they were in H1. Please hit the like button, join Bitcoin Bubble, and watch the whole movie. When he talks about Bitcoin price, altcoins Wall Street probably wants to know about Donald Trump first, what to expect when the Ethereum ETF launches, long-term trends that will make the price of crypto skyrocket, and a lot more. Based on the number of Bitcoins held, Bitwise is the 5th biggest ETF right now. The CEO is Matt Hogan, who has a good feel for what's going on Wall Street. Now, tell us what you know about how these Bitcoin ETFs are doing. What should we know? First, let me say 2 things. 1, these ETFs have done the best of all time, which is pretty cool, right? A lot of ETFs have come out in the past 30 years, but these Bitcoin ETFs are the ones that are growing the fastest. You can tell by that number how eager professional buyers are to get into this asset class. This is a very interesting sight. In January, February, and March, there's a huge flow of money, mostly from individual buyers. After that, they took their foot off the gas. We had a time when things were pretty much flat, but in the last few weeks, flows have started to pick up again, and I think it's starting to pick up speed. Kate, I think that means that the REITs, banks, and hedge funds that began looking into this in January are now finishing up their research and starting to make investments. That's why I think the flows might be even stronger in H2 than they were in H1. Business investors are coming in and making the money move. What's your pitch then? Your wealthy clients? What do you say to big backers about your business? What is the main idea that people are telling you about investing? Still, that 2 to 5% seems to be split between digital gold, which is a store of value, and risky assets. Is that a true statement? What do you hear? You see, every day at Bitwise we talk to financial advisors about crypto. This is what we've done for 7 years. And there are 2 main things that come up when we talk to them about BDB and our ETF. The first is a lot of worry about the long-term future of the dollar and rising debt and deficits. That's how investors feel, and they need a way to protect themselves. For the past few years, Bitcoin has been the best way to protect yourself from that risk. You should know that the dollar has lost 25% of its value since COVID. Bitcoin is now worth 700 or 800% more. It's been a great defense. That's a big reason why. The second one is very easy to understand. People are only looking at supply and demand. Bitcoin's amount is pretty much set, right? In fact, the rate of new supply dropped by half in April. Still, there are trillions of dollars in institutional capital that needs to get into the market. Some people look at it and say, this is the easiest trade I've seen in a while. Some people are asking themselves, how can I protect myself against that risk to the dollar in either case? It adds up to a lot. Flows in. What about Mr. Trump? Donald Trump has become a strong supporter of Bitcoin, which has made crypto an issue in the race. How do Wall Street firms that focus on crypto like BlackRock and Bitwise see this? The fact that Donald Trump backs crypto is pretty big, right? Trump, who used to be president, seems to be taking a stand here. Make himself look like the more crypto-friendly choice. How do people in the business feel? Is there a lot of talk about the race for president and what it might mean? There is a lot of talk about the presidential race, but there is even more talk about how the FIT21 bill in the House brought together people from both parties. Over 70 Democrats joined us from the other side. In politics, if you want to get something done, you'll need agreement from both sides. And crypto's good news is hidden below the surface. Once we get out of Washington, it's owned by both parties. People who own crypto are very evenly divided along political lines, and I think that's starting to show in Washington. So I believe we will make real progress over the next 12 months. There also seems to be a difference in age, right? As you said, it's not always politics. Could it be that younger buyers are more interested in crypto? Did you find that? That is definitely true. And we saw that happen in Congress. What made people vote for the FIT21 bill was more similar across ethnic lines than across party lines. Reps who voted for it were mostly 51 years old, while reps who voted against it were mostly in their mid-60s. That's a good long-term direction for crypto once more. I believe it makes us stronger. Isn't the Ethereum ETF a big deal? What do you think about the ETH ETF? How is the launch going? From now on, Wall Street is interested in more than just Bitcoin. What other cryptocurrencies are they looking at? At some point, What about Ether ETFs? How likely do you think it is that you'll be successful there? How does it compare to some of the Bitcoin services that are already out there? Tell us what to expect from Ethereum. Yes, what is the first thing that skilled investors learn? They learn to broaden their experience. No one has a single bond or stock. They have a portfolio of bonds and a collection of stocks. We think that a lot of people who own Bitcoin ETFs will also invest in Ethereum ETFs for the same simple reason. I think that when Ethereum ETFs do start, the flow of money will speed up a little less quickly than it did in Bitcoin. This is because there is still more to learn. It's a treasure with more parts. The crypto market is getting a lot of attention from skilled investors. It can be used for a lot of different things. Between 1% and 5% of the market will be what they want, and most of those will want to keep both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Is there more that Wall Street could do with crypto? At least Bitcoin seems to be something that people can feel good about. At this point, I've heard some call it boomer coin. Its name has gotten better at least. People say it's the safest, biggest, and oldest, but there are other investments worth about $1 trillion that might not be as appealing. What do you think about the idea that Wall Street might ever get used to that? I believe they will get used to it. As they learn more about how open blockchains can be used for things other than money, I think they'll start to look at things like Solana instead of just Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think that will hit home. Another area where I think a lot of money will be put is in stablecoins. This includes money from the world's biggest banks. That's a $150 billion market. There will be big banks like JP Morgan, Bank of New York, and others trying to get a foothold in that market in a few years. I think it will be worth several $1 trillion. It's the same story again. There are investments worth trillions of dollars that want to get into crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, stablecoins, and other uses we haven't even thought of yet will be some of them. The important question: what might go wrong? What does it bother you at night? What is the most important problem that crypto still has to solve? What do you hear about some of the complaints that are still there? When it comes to crypto, whether it's the risk to your image, your safety, or the fact that there aren't enough rules, what do you think is the main worry that institutional buyers have? Believe it or not, I really believe it's just the passing of time. After the Bitcoin ETFs came out in January and February, I think a lot of institutional companies started their due diligence. This process takes 6 to 12 months for any new asset, not just crypto. I believe the most important one is time passing. But I will say that Wall Street is looking at Washington, D.C. It really changed how people felt when we saw some progress made by both parties in Congress on regulating crypto more broadly. When that comes to light, I believe this slow flow of institutional assets will turn into a flood. Very interesting times. Right now, most people don't care about Bitcoin. Even more so since it's just ranges and ranges. There are a lot of good reasons to believe in Bitcoin and the whole market for cryptocurrencies. Almost every day we let you know about these green flags. Get your Bitcoin Nashville tickets early for July. Every day use the code ALTCOIN to get 10% off. We're going to talk there. We will also be putting out the full chat with Charles Hoskinson in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that and make sure you're signed up for Bitcoin Bubble. I'll see you tomorrow.